The Bahamas is a name that immediately brings a sense of wealth, serenity, and unmatched beauty. It is one of those rare places where luxury is not just advertised, it is embedded in the rhythm of everyday life. Positioned less than 100 kilometers from the southern tip of Florida, it forms a bridge between the Caribbean and North America, making it one of the most accessible tropical destinations for the world's wealthy. With over 700 islands and more than 2,000 keys scattered across the Atlantic, the Bahamas is a collection of natural jewels surrounded by some of the clearest waters ever recorded. Scientists once noted that visibility under Bahamian water can reach up to 60 meters, a clarity that no other Caribbean location has consistently matched. The wealth that flows into this island chain is not accidental. It is built on a foundation of geography, stability, and smart governance that has positioned the Bahamas as both a playground for the rich and a refuge for investors. While neighboring Caribbean nations depend heavily on agriculture or manufacturing, the Bahamas leaned into tourism, offshore banking, and high-end real estate, three sectors that attract global money and maintain the country's prosperity. Today, more than half of its GDP comes from tourism alone, with millions of visitors arriving each year, many of them from the United States, Canada, and Europe, drawn by the promise of safety, cleanliness, and pure relaxation. Safety is one of the most underrated reasons the Bahamas dominates the luxury market. Compared to several other Caribbean islands where travelers worry about unstable politics or local unrest, the Bahamas offers a controlled, secure, and heavily patrolled environment. The government has invested heavily in community policing, island surveillance, and tourism-oriented safety units that make the streets of Nassau, Paradise Island, and the Exumas feel approachable even at night. Roads are well lit, patrols are consistent, and the overall atmosphere is calm. For travelers moving between islands, security screening at domestic airports is quick yet thorough. This sense of order reassures wealthy visitors who want to move freely without fear, and it also gives residents confidence in their government's ability to protect one of the Caribbean's most valuable brands, its image of safety and comfort. Nassau, the capital on New Providence Island, is the financial and cultural heart of the Bahamas. It is where the blend of old colonial charm and modern opulence becomes most visible. Downtown streets feature preserved British-style architecture beside modern banks, designer boutiques, and fine dining restaurants that serve everything from conch fritters to imported lobster tails. The government's buildings are freshly painted, roads are wide, and ports are organized to handle both cruise arrivals and private yachts. Compared with Kingston in Jamaica or Port-au-Prince in Haiti, Nassau feels cleaner, quieter, and far more controlled, evidence of a national strategy to maintain high living standards and global investor confidence. But what makes the Bahamas truly luxurious is not just its infrastructure or income level. It is how the islands have managed to balance exclusivity with accessibility. The country hosts some of the most elite neighborhoods in the Caribbean, communities where privacy, comfort, and prestige coexist effortlessly. On Paradise Island lies the world-famous Atlantis Resort, a massive complex featuring marine habitats, private beaches, casinos, and luxury suites that attract celebrities and executives. Nearby, the Albany Resort stands as one of the most exclusive residential developments in the region, co-owned by international icons such as Tiger Woods and Justin Timberlake. With villas worth tens of millions of dollars, Albany is a world of its own, equipped with its own golf course, marina, and private school. To the north, Baker's Bay Golf and Ocean Club on Grey Guana Key offers another level of seclusion where billionaires own entire oceanfront estates surrounded by turquoise lagoons. Despite all the glamour, the Bahamas remains impressively organized and easy to navigate. The road networks, ferry systems, and domestic flights between islands are efficient, giving travelers a sense of seamless movement that's rare in island nations. Taxis and ride shares are reliable, and the population's friendliness makes communication effortless. English is the official language, and the Bahamian accent, warm and rhythmic, creates a welcoming tone even for first-time visitors. This simplicity of movement reinforces the country's image as a place where luxury is not only visible but also functional, where your time and money feel valued through service, convenience, and reliability. Another factor that elevates the Bahamas is its cleanliness and environmental care. Many Caribbean islands face challenges with waste management, but in Nassau and across tourist centers like Exumas and Eleuthera, local authorities have maintained an impressive standard of sanitation. Beaches are cleaned daily, coral reef protection programs are active, and resorts are required to maintain eco-friendly operations. The result is a coastline that consistently ranks among the top in global travel surveys. Cable Beach, Cabbage Beach, and Pink Sands Beach are constantly featured among the world's best beaches, not only for their looks but also for their water purity, accessibility, and safety conditions. For travelers comparing destinations, these details matter. It's why many high-end tourists choose the Bahamas over other Caribbean options like the Dominican Republic or St. Lucia, where beach quality and water clarity can vary widely from one area to another. The Bahamian food scene is another reason this nation feels like a complete package for luxury tourism. While neighboring islands often rely on imported Western fast food, the Bahamas developed a culinary identity that merges local flavor with international finesse. Conch, the national dish, is served fried, stewed, or raw in citrus marinades called conch salad. Fresh grouper, snapper, and rock lobster dominate seafood menus, while side dishes often include peas and rice, fried plantain, and baked macaroni. Fine dining restaurants in Nassau or Paradise Island combine these traditional elements with gourmet twists, truffle oils, imported wines, and world-class chefs. Unlike some destinations where the high prices feel inflated, visitors in the Bahamas often comment that they genuinely receive the value they pay for clean kitchens, precise service, and well-trained hospitality staff. This culture of professionalism has been embedded through decades of tourism training programs and government partnerships with international hotel schools. The real estate market provides another dimension of the Bahamas' luxury identity. Foreigners are allowed to buy property with minimal restrictions, and the absence of income and capital gains taxes makes it particularly attractive to high-net-worth individuals. Exclusive developments in Lyford Cay, Old Fort Bay, and Ocean Club estates rank among the most expensive neighborhoods in the Caribbean. Lyford Cay, established in the 1950s, remains a private gated community that houses global elites, former heads of state, and business magnates. It features its own golf club, private security, marina, and beach access, essentially a self-contained world of wealth. Properties here routinely sell for tens of millions of dollars, often purchased by families seeking both privacy and a stable legal system under English-based law. This legal reliability is a major factor that distinguishes the Bahamas from many of its regional peers, where property disputes or bureaucratic delays can discourage investment. Economically, the Bahamas benefits from its strong currency link with the US dollar. The Bahamian dollar is pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar, meaning prices are stable and predictable. Tourists from America don't even need to exchange their money, a convenience that enhances the country's appeal. This simple financial arrangement keeps inflation low and builds trust among foreign investors who prefer certainty over volatility. In comparison, other Caribbean countries like Jamaica or the Dominican Republic experience periodic currency fluctuations that can affect tourism revenue and import costs. The Bahamas avoids that issue entirely, offering financial consistency that strengthens both its economy and its reputation as a safe haven for wealth. Even the nation's relationship with its environment adds to its luxurious appeal. The Bahamas is not industrialized, so its air and waters remain clean, and noise pollution is minimal outside major towns. Resorts invest in coral reef restoration, solar energy, and plastic-free operations, ensuring the islands stay pristine. For travelers who associate luxury with peace and purity, this environmental awareness reinforces the country's elite brand. Where some destinations mix beauty with chaos, the Bahamas blends beauty with order. What sets the Bahamas apart from other high-end destinations like the Maldives or Seychelles is accessibility combined with infrastructure. From Miami, a flight to Nassau takes less than an hour, and yet the difference in scenery feels like an ocean apart. Travelers who want a quick but exclusive escape can reach their private villa faster than they would reach another US state. The airports, marinas, and private terminals are built to handle luxury demand efficiently, allowing seamless transitions from jet to yacht, from yacht to resort. This level of logistical perfection is rare in island chains, especially those that spread across vast distances. The government's emphasis on stability has also played a key role. Since gaining independence from Britain in 1973, the Bahamas has maintained one of the region's most consistent democratic systems. Peaceful elections, strong institutions, and a respected legal framework have helped it attract both tourists and long-term investors. When global companies look for Caribbean headquarters, they often choose Nassau over other capitals because of its political calm and professional workforce. That reliability, political, economic, and social, gives the Bahamas a level of prestige few small nations achieve. For luxury travelers, value often comes down to trust that the country will be safe, clean, well-managed, and worth every cent. The Bahamas delivers on all fronts. While it's undeniably expensive, visitors feel that the cost reflects genuine quality. From the roads to the resorts, everything functions with a standard that resembles the world's leading luxury destinations. In return, the Bahamas ranks consistently high in global tourism satisfaction surveys, often outperforming larger and better-known islands in the region. When most people think of the Bahamas, their minds immediately picture turquoise waters and white sands. But that image only tells half the story. The Bahamas isn't just another tropical destination, it's a symbol of refined wealth, safety, and order in a region where such consistency is rare. The country's government and people have spent decades turning natural beauty into a structured economy. Every inch of its territory, from Nassau's bright pastel buildings to the silent, untouched beaches of the Exumas, has been shaped by an understanding that luxury isn't an accident, it's built. Over the years, this small nation has carefully positioned itself not only as a retreat for the rich but also as a functioning financial hub and a stable home for those seeking a life balance between freedom and security. Unlike many islands that rely solely on tourism, the Bahamas learned how to blend tourism, real estate, and finance into a single, powerful system that sustains its prosperity. Its proximity to the United States means convenience for travelers, but more importantly, confidence for investors who see it as the Caribbean's most reliable gateway to the Western world. To understand what makes the Bahamas different, you have to look at how it uses its geography. It sits barely 80 kilometers from Florida, meaning people from Miami can reach Nassau in under an hour. That closeness has made the Bahamas the unofficial playground of America's wealthy class. The Bahamas government knew this advantage early on and invested heavily in building an infrastructure that reflects Western standards. Roads are clean and maintained, airports are modern, and even on smaller islands, power and internet access are reliable. These may seem like small details, but for luxury travelers and property buyers, they're the foundation of trust. Safety is another pillar, and it's one of the reasons the Bahamas leads the region in high-end tourism. Tourist areas are protected by visible and efficient law enforcement, and private security within resorts and residential zones is discreet but strong. There's a visible calm in the streets of Nassau, not because of military presence, but because the environment feels controlled, respected, and cared for. This sense of safety makes exploration easier. Whether you're walking through Bay Street, visiting Paradise Island, or traveling by ferry to Eleuthera, there's a consistent feeling that you're somewhere designed for peace of mind. The wealth in the Bahamas is visible, yet not loud. It's in the sleek architecture of Old Fort Bay, the manicured lawns of Lyford Cay, and the quiet privacy of Albany, three of the most exclusive residential zones in the Caribbean. In Lyford Cay, multi-million-dollar homes sit along private stretches of beach, surrounded by tropical vegetation and security gates that protect both residents and their solitude. The neighborhood has its own golf course, marina, and clubhouses, creating a self-contained world where some of the most influential figures on the planet live without fanfare. Old Fort Bay carries a historical charm. Originally built around a restored 18th century fort, it merges the past with the present in a way that few luxury estates manage to do. Albany, on the other hand, represents modern luxury. It's sleek, high-tech, and known for its celebrity residents, with private yachts, personal chefs, and amenities that feel closer to a five-star hotel than a neighborhood. Collectively, these areas demonstrate how the Bahamas has become a symbol of tasteful wealth. It's not a place for noise or excess, but for those who value discretion and order. Tourism remains the heart of the Bahamian economy, yet it operates differently from mass-market destinations. Here, tourism is curated, designed for quality rather than quantity. Each year, millions visit, but most stay within structured zones that protect both the environment and the visitor experience. Resorts like Bahamas, Atlantis Paradise Island, and the Ocean Club are engineered ecosystems of comfort, where guests can experience world-class service with minimal disruption to the local way of life. These resorts employ thousands of Bahamians, generating a steady flow of income for families while keeping the service standard high enough to compete globally. The Bahamas doesn't chase budget travelers, it attracts those who understand value, people willing to pay more for peace, exclusivity, and superior quality. And that strategy has paid off. The country's GDP per capita is among the highest in the Caribbean, a result of balancing tourism with offshore finance and high-end real estate. Cleanliness is another quiet but powerful aspect of the Bahamian appeal. The beaches, from Cable Beach to Pink Sands in Harbour Island, are among the cleanest in the region. The clarity of Bahamian waters is globally recognized. Satellite images have shown that its waters are some of the clearest on Earth, visible up to depths of 60 meters. This clarity is not just natural, it's maintained. Local communities and authorities take pride in environmental upkeep, ensuring that waste management systems are effective and that tourism doesn't destroy the fragile marine ecosystem. The Bahamas even limits the type of development allowed on certain islands to preserve their natural appearance. For visitors, this translates to a sense of untouched paradise. Every photo looks like a postcard because the environment is protected with intention. But the luxury of the Bahamas isn't only in the view, it's in the everyday experience. Moving around is efficient. Taxis are regulated, roads are signposted, and transportation between islands is well organized through ferries and short domestic flights. The Bahamian dollar is pegged to the US dollar, making transactions smooth and predictable. Healthcare and banking systems are advanced for the region, with many institutions following international standards. For the average traveler, this means less stress and more comfort. For investors, it means long-term confidence. Even the small details, like how clean the streets are or how well-kept public areas remain, contribute to the perception of order and quality that defines the Bahamian lifestyle. Culturally, the Bahamas manages to balance global luxury with local identity. While five-star resorts dominate the headlines, Bahamian culture is alive in its people, music, and food. Junkanoo, the national festival, still fills the streets of Nassau with drums and costumes every December, and the friendliness of the locals remains one of the country's strongest assets. Bahamians are known for being approachable, respectful, and genuinely proud of their islands. That warmth, combined with the country's safety and wealth, makes it easy for visitors to feel comfortable exploring beyond the resorts. Street vendors, fishermen, and restaurant owners coexist with international visitors in a way that feels natural, not forced. It's this authenticity, this ability to maintain cultural integrity amid wealth, that separates the Bahamas from other luxury destinations. The food scene here reflects that same balance. Traditional dishes like cracked conch, rock lobster, and Bahamian macaroni are still found in local restaurants, but fine dining has flourished alongside them. Resorts host international chefs, and the country's culinary standards have risen to compete with global capitals. Dining in the Bahamas often comes with a view of the sea, whether it's a small local shack serving fried snapper or a five-star restaurant offering imported steak, the connection to the ocean is constant. Food here is not just nourishment, it's a reflection of the island's life, where everything is fresh, simple, and deeply tied to nature. Economically, the Bahamas has managed to do what few island nations achieve: diversify. Offshore banking, real estate, and tourism feed into each other, creating a cycle of growth that benefits both the elite and the working population. The nation's tax policies attract international businesses, while its stable democracy keeps the investment environment predictable. This combination has made the Bahamas a safe haven for global wealth. Yet despite this economic sophistication, inequality is relatively contained compared to many neighboring islands, largely because of consistent employment opportunities in tourism and services. The government's focus on infrastructure, education, and environmental protection shows that the goal isn't only to be rich, but to remain sustainable in the long run. And through all this, the Bahamas never loses its soul. It's still an island nation where time moves slower, where people greet you as you walk by, and where the sound of the sea replaces city noise. The luxury here isn't artificial, it's built on real comfort, trust, and natural beauty. It's in the feeling of waking up to a clear sky, walking safely through clean streets, and realizing that the calmness you feel is not sold, it's real. The Bahamas has built its wealth not on extravagance, but on the quiet confidence of a nation that knows what it offers. It's not trying to be like anywhere else. It already is the standard by which other islands are measured.